Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Admati Nirandasya Gananjaya Shplakaya Chakshurum Vardayana Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 19. The chapter is called Answers by citing the Lord's version. Tam priyamanam samupastitam kavim Raja visarke nija shasanaranam Bhavasha ishat smita shochichakira Priyaha priyam pritamanaha karisprishan Tam unto Lord Brahma Priyamanam worthy of being dear Samupastitham present before Kavim the great scholar Praja living entities Visarge in the matter of creation Nija his own Shashana control Arhanam just suitable Abhase addressed Ishat mild Smita smiling Shotiksha with enlightening Gira words Priyaha the beloved Priyam the counterpart of love Pritamanaha being very much pleased Kare by the hand Spirshan shaking Translation and purport by His Divine Grace HG Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and, slightly smiling, addressed him thus. Please repeat. And seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus being much satisfied with him. The Lord shook hands with Brahma and slightly smiling addressed him thus. Purport by His Divine Grace HG Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The creation of the material world is not blind or accidental. The living entities who are ever conditioned on Nitya Bhara are thus given a chance for liberation under the guidance of his own representative, like Brahma. The Lord instructs Brahma in Vedic knowledge in order to diffuse this knowledge to the conditioned souls. The conditioned souls are forgetful souls in their relationship with the Lord, and thus a period of creation and the process of dissemination of Vedic knowledge are necessary activities of the Lord. Lord Brahma has a great responsibility in delivering the conditioned souls, and therefore he is very dear to the Lord. Brahma also does his duty very perfectly, not only by generating the living entities, but also by spreading his party for reclaiming the fallen souls. The party is called Brahma Sampradaya, and any member of this party to date is naturally engaged in reclaiming the fallen souls back to Godhead, back home. The Lord is very much anxious to get back his parts and parcels, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. No one is more dear than one who takes the task of reclaiming the fallen souls back to Godhead. There are many renegades from Brahma Sampradaya whose only business is to make men more forgetful of the Lord, and thus entangle them more and more in material existence. Such persons are never dear to the Lord. The Lord sends them deeper into the darkest region of matter, so that such envious demons may not be able to know the Supreme Lord. Anyone, however, preaching the mission of the Lord in the line of Brahma Sampradaya is always dear to the Lord, and the Lord, being satisfied with such a preacher of the authorized bhakti cult, shakes hands with him in great satisfaction. Read the verse again. Seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and slightly smiling, addressed him thus. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I've got a bit of sore throat, so please forgive me. This is a very powerful, extremely meaningful purport and verse. It's a reminder for all of us, our great fortune, the happiness and joy of Krishna consciousness. It is a great meaning to our lives, not just momentarily, but perpetually. If we realize this great fortune, then we are extremely grateful to our teachers and ultimately Lord Brahma. Just like I was giving the class last week about Madhvacharya's life, his experiences in preaching and being faithful and loyal to Lord Brahma and Vyasa and all the original authors and founders of this sampradaya. Madhvacharya was reputed about very disciplined and loyal to Lord Brahma's teachings. Brahma Sampradaya. Therefore our sampradaya is called Lord Brahma, Madhya, Gaudiya Sampradaya. So very, very important to understand this. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to descend to this fortunate sampradaya. Of course, all sampradayas, bona fide sampradayas, have great teachers and they have their particular discipline. For example, Sri Vaishnavas, they follow Yajur Veda. So they have a particular way of approaching the same destination. They give emphasis of the feminine aspect, Lakshmi Devi. So you can see that they very much absorbed in that meditation and worship of addressing Lord Krishna as Lord Narayan and Radharani ultimately, Lakshmi Devi. So Lakshmi Devi, Lakshmi Sampradaya. And Ramanuja Acharya, very powerful teacher, similar to Madhvacharya. He also came and establishing the authoritative teachings, no deviation. So they came here to remind and enlighten all living entities about their great fortune, the opportunity to take shelter of one of these sampradayas and learn and hear about the all-blissful Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchit Ananda. Beautiful forms, so pleasurable to see. Just like yesterday, we had such a joyful, happy day, chanting the holy names of Krishna together. I got a moment of realization yesterday, although I was in the kitchen, that we are so fortunate. This is just beyond words. We have the association of devotees, sincere devotees. We may not be perfect, but we are sincere to Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas and to the Lordships. And we are so happy to celebrate Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the most kind, most merciful form of the Supreme Lord. He is directly representing Lord Balaram, and the spiritual master represents Lord Nityananda. See, spiritual master also represents Radharani. So you can see the spiritual master is the representation of the ultimate kindness and mercy of Krishna. So we are so fortunate to have this. And as time goes, hopefully we all become more and more absorbed in the pleasure and happiness of Krishna consciousness, the meditation, contemplation, how to give pleasure to the divine couple. That should be the ultimate destination, right in this life, not in the future yet, no, right now. We can make it successful. It's up to us, strong determination. Srila Prabhupada said once, I was listening to a lecture the other week, that Krishna consciousness is actually very simple. What is difficult is whether we have the determination. We have to be determined because we are in a conditional state and we are in the process of purification. So we have to sincerely try, take shelter of the devotees, have proper association, questions and answers, come to the classes, and as time goes, and as Srimad Bhagavatam also says, one who hears and attends the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam, his material desires, his material tendencies will eventually become sunyavadi, zero, almost zero. So very, very important that we attend the classes regularly. And here from our spiritual masters also very important to have this, because this gives us encouragement, a relief from our material disturbances. Material world is like a wave of tidal wave of material anxieties and difficulties. For the devotees, Krishna makes it easier, but we still have to be determined. We have to kind of cut through this fog of illusion, this confusion of the material world, and just be focused on our most beautiful process given by Srila Prabhupada. The incredible mercy we have, and we can only realize that together, when we have this unity amongst ourselves, and we really wholeheartedly together give ourselves to Krishna and Radharani. And Lord Nityananda, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are helping us greatly. We may not realize it right at this point, except sentimentally or some kind of feelings, but as time goes, we realize how fortunate we are to have this process of a Sri Nama, the holy names of Krishna, chanting the holy names of Krishna. So of course, these purports are encouraging also. Actually, Prabhupada says in the purport that sincere devotees, not to speak of advanced devotees, they can't bear a moment not helping others. The whole Sampradaya is based on spreading this mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially Mahaprabhu appeared and the Goswamis established the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta very clearly. And it's all about the holy name and spreading the mercy of the holy name. When we take shelter of the holy name and when we want to share the mercy of the holy name, that is something special, because that means we're already getting some taste, some realization of the holy name. So devotees who really feel the mercy of the holy name, they want to spread it. And spreading the holy name means many things. Of course, any service within the movement supports that, not just the direct preachers. So we should always think how to help assist Srila Prabhupada's noble mission, spreading the holy name, saving and reminding and enlightening the conditioned souls about their great fortune. This is an opportunity here. After millions of lifetimes, somehow or other, we came to Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. They established the means for us, the facility, all here. And I'm just reading a book by Shama Sundara Prabhu about his experiences with Prabhupada. And so much difficulties in the early days in England and in Russia, and the devotees had to struggle so much to set up this beautiful infrastructure, what we have now. Krishna, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We should not take it for granted. This is incredibly special. And here we are, in front of their lordships. We are so blessed, honestly. And I'm saying this from my heart. It's not just some philosophy. This is my own experience. I never, ever in my life had any disappointment and regret that I became a devotee. And that was almost 42 years now. And I'm still sitting here amongst the devotees. I spent many times in different temples. And I always had, regardless of our personal struggles and conditioning, I was, by the blessings of the devotees, I remained faithful and loyal to Srila Prabhupada. Because I understand, at least I have a bit of mercy there, there's a little bit of intelligence, that how fortunate we are. I remember reading the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should realize these things gradually. And we should pray that we rise above this conditional state and simply just want to help the conditioned souls. Going out in Harinama, distributing transcendental literature, Brihat Mridanga. We're touching people's lives. It's incredible. In just the last few weeks, we have been going out, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week with Garuda Prabhu, since Garuda Prabhu is back. So we're really full on. We might go today also. He just grabs me. I'm sitting in my room, and he comes, takes my ears like this. And Sunday we were out for 6-7 hours. It was so blissful. So many books coming out too. I really like when Harinam is going and the books are. And people just like stunned with appreciation. Who are these people? I mean, of course they know we are Hare Krishnas, but we see this peace and happiness radiating, projected. And this is it. That's what we have to do. We have to be pure. Purity is the force. Then there's an impact. Then of course we have to make the effort. We have to pray to the previous acharyas. Let me, Srila Prabhupada, great acharyas, not to speak of Lord Nityananda, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please help us. Please help me to be your instrument. Please help my best. Please protect me, Krishna, that I can remain at your lotus feet. There's so many distractions in this world. And we are very coming out of the conditional state, and we can still get drifted away, unfortunately. Maya is very powerful. So she'll test us. But when we throw ourselves into this ocean of nectar, ocean of preaching activities, so many ways to preach, so many ways to touch people's lives. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, as Srila Prabhupada says, in the 18th chapter, Krishna makes it very clear that those who preach and teach others about the message of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's message, they are the most dear to Him. No one ever be more dear to Him. Preaching is definitely a very important service. It's completely aligned with the teachings of the Goswamis, our previous acharyas. They're always preaching. Preaching is the essence. Utility is the principle. The books are the basis, and purity is the force. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Goswami, Prabhupada made it very clear that this is a mission of Mahaprabhu. We should not forget that this movement has started for expressing the Vaishnava compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. People are suffering. This is the other realization. I had a glimpse of it here and there by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, is that people are suffering so much. We don't have to look far. We can see everywhere people are not happy. Sometimes you see them happy here and there, but it's not happiness. They're not really happy. They're suffering deeply. I was reading an article by the United Nations. It's called Happiness Index. And they listed 200 countries and they put them into, and different kinds of happiness index also. Some are very artificial. They're just looking at economical development and finance and investments, and that's really superficial. Actually looking at the overall health and satisfaction, contentment and everything all together. Actually the so-called poorest countries like Bangladesh, Ecuador, Costa Rica, they were the top ranked happiness index. Because people didn't have to, they were simple. Most of them lived agrarian life in the villages, and the family orientation, and they were more or less God conscious because they had some kind of tradition, either Christian or Buddhist, or some kind of sattvic principles. And the lowest in the rank were the Western countries. All European countries were in the 50th or 60th on the rank. And of course Australia was there too somewhere, 50 something. And America was almost 100 on the you can see more affluent a country was, a more depression, a more suffering, a more anxiety, more insecurities. People were lacking of even just a basic peace of mind. There's no family support, there's no unit, they feel secure. So you can see the material world is very misleading. It's driven by illusions. Only Krishna consciousness can break through this illusion and give them hope, some hope that Krishna consciousness can solve all problems. But of course we have to convince them. So this is when our knowledge, simplicity and purity of heart will touch them. They take us seriously. And of course we encourage them to read Srila Prabhupada's books, which are the most important. Prabhupada invested his whole life into these books. Srila Prabhupada spent gallons of blood to set this movement up. So we can sit here nicely and worship Krishna, take shelter of the holy name, and take pleasure in chanting of the holy names. So if we are grateful, one of the first things we're going to think, how can I repay my spiritual master? How can I please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda to spread this Krishna consciousness? We have to know the deepest intentions and desires. A sincere devotee understands that Krishna is in pain because living entities are suffering in this material world. So we want to help Krishna to overcome. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feels great pain when he sees a living entity suffering in this world of Maya, world of illusions. So when we serve his mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately responds. So when the devotee is going out regularly, especially direct preaching activities, book distribution, Harinam, so these are very powerful formulas. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, because it's very good for us too. It's incredibly purifying. Every time I go out in Harinam, especially when spending all day distributing books, you get so much realizations. People come up to you just like we have a magnetism, I don't know how. Krishna brings them there, the super soul, and they're asking very relevant questions. They're actually bewildered by us because they want to be happy too. Everyone wants to be happy in this world. And they see a group of people completely aloof, transcendental, chanting the most glorious holy names of Krishna. And especially when we have this feeling of oneness together as brothers and sisters, we're chanting happily, joyfully, they just, wow, they think, I want to be like these people. Someone came up to me the other week and said, I just want to be like you guys, happy, peaceful, and just, who is this Krishna? So, Krishna is a mystery for them. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada put these books together, so make it clear. These books are appealing to everyone, including the very, very beginners and also the most advanced. Prabhupada's books are incredibly powerful. And as time goes, we will have full faith that these books can save the whole world in its darkest hour. Prabhupada said it too. This Krishna consciousness movement will save humanity from its darkest hour. There will be a time, as Kali Yuga progresses, that the difficulties will be much more obvious, really, globally, everywhere. And the only hope people see is a spiritual, transcendental solution, and Srila Prabhupada is giving us. The great acharyas, they can already see the progression of Kali Yuga. So, not to speak of Srimad Bhagavatam, the conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, all these questions and answers are clearing and clarifying things. What is this Kali Yuga, and what is how to counteract these miseries of the material world, and what is the ultimate destination, and how to attain that. So Krishna consciousness is the ultimate solution to all problems. Chanting of the holy names of Krishna is the ultimate hope and solution to all problems in this world, every way. If you analyze it scripturally and from your own experience, because we all have some experience, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here. We have some experience of the positivity and the blissfulness of Krishna consciousness. And so we are anxious to know more. We come regularly here, regularly attending the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that way we get purified even more so. This is an ongoing process. We shouldn't just stop here or there. We just go on patiently. And as any difficulty comes, because of our conditional state, take shelter of advanced devotees, sincere devotees. Please, Prabhu, explain this to me. I'm having some problem here. Don't just hide your problem. Be honest, reveal your mind to advanced devotees so they can help you Because we want every devotee here to stay in Krishna consciousness, not to be despondent and be depressed about things, some external things. We should learn to forgive, we should take shelter of Krishna, the holy names, and try to rise above the superficiality and artificial kind of. Be real, be sincere, ask for service. Krishna, let me express my love for you. Let me do some service to you. Let me serve your devotees. And yesterday I was a bit lamenting because I was practically all morning, afternoon in the kitchen, and I couldn't hear the kirtan much of classes, so I was there. But I got all these realizations coming through me. And I remembered one room conversation, Prabhupada, and devotees were asking questions. And I think it was in Chicago, and Prabhupada was arriving at the airport, and hundreds of devotees, big kirtan, chanting, ecstasy, blissfulness, Srila Prabhupada, imagine. And one devotee had to stay back, like Garuda type of devotee, cooking for the devotees and Prabhupada. And he was lamenting, tears from his eyes, I'm missing out on this nectar. But he was really working hard. Amazing, Prabhupada knew this. So when the devotee came to Prabhupada for darshan, Prabhupada, I just can't forgive myself, I'm so unfortunate. I missed out on this beautiful kirtan, greeting you. All the devotees in bliss, and here I am in the kitchen. And Prabhupada said, anyone can just chant, but doing service to the holy name, that's the real thing. That means you understood. See? Of course, initially we take pleasure. And yes, the holy name is pleasurable and blissful, and we take shelter of it and we feel pleasure. But the next moment, okay, Krishna is so kind to me, so loving, and gives me this relief of the material existence. How can I repay to him? What can I do for you, Krishna? And of course, Krishna presents opportunities. Prabhu, can you wash the pots? Or do something. Do something. And then you get the realization of the holy name. See? Not just chanting. Because we're not true bhajanandis or pure devotees who can actually feel Vrindavan in that chanting. See? Our chanting is honestly, most of us, mechanical. We follow rules and regulations. So we have to be patient with practice, and we have to surrender to the process of seva, serving Krishna and his devotees. As much as you can, whatever you can do. It's not about what you do, it's just the service attitude, what Krishna looks for. Wow, they actually understood this. They come and please me. Now this is when mercy comes. Individually and collectively, and this is when we cut through this great illusion of the material world. This is when we have an impact on the world. We may have a few devotees looking at globally compared to the population of the planet. Of course, most people, they have no clear idea. Some sentiments of God consciousness, yes. It's every human civilization has some sense of God consciousness, whatever tradition it is. But actual understanding, scientific understanding who God is and what we're supposed to do with our lives, that really comes down from a proper, authentic sampradaya. Guru and disciple, disciplic succession, right to the present day. Here we are amongst the disciples and grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And we can practice and feel these emotions and desire to express. Every day is a different day for the body actually. Sometimes a bit more difficult, sometimes a bit not so. But the idea is to give pleasure to the spiritual master, Krishna and his devotees. And we can't go wrong. Guaranteed process. And we'll be very happy also. And there are many good examples within our movement, in the past and the present, very blissful devotees, greatly satisfied with Krishna consciousness. They're not deviating, they are faithful, loyal, and they get the deep realizations. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj wrote an essay about Sevan Mukha, the importance of service, not to speak of devotion. And when someone serves Krishna sincerely, faithfully, a lot of the essence and imports of Vedic teachings, the Vedic scriptures will be revealed to him. Actually, there's a verse. He also often, even Prabhupada quotes that in different sections and purports that those who have implicit faith in the spiritual master and the teachings, the injunctions of the Vedic scriptures, all the essential teachings, all the essence will be revealed. So we have faith in the spiritual master, we have faith in the process, and we apply it. We become sincere devotees. Let me serve the community of Vaishnavas, let me be inspired devotee in this movement, not just go day by day, I have my duties, I have my... Of course, anything we do is always good, even if we're not up to it, because this is such an important movement, a great mission of Mahaprabhu. Anyone who participates, even if is not conscious of it, a great blessings of Mahaprabhu there. Krishna sees every devotee, extremely fortunate souls coming out of this material world after many, many lifetimes, searching and seeking some solution. They have been experiencing all kinds of, they were yogis and personalists, whoever they were in the past. Here we are, out of all the billions of people, we have the great blessings to utter the divine names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Therefore, when we surrender to the preaching mission of Mahaprabhu, Krishna will shake hands with us. As Prabhupada says, he shook hands with Lord Brahma in great satisfaction, because he understood the inner desire of Krishna is to help our brothers and sisters in the material world, because even Lord Brahma, when Krishna gave him the task to mastermind, because he's the ultimate engineer of this particular universe, he had to create every detail. Imagine his intelligence. Wow! You just know, you have no idea. 4 heads, an incredible power and potencies. He's being empowered by Lord Narayana himself. So the entire teachings, the entire blessings which imparted to Lord Brahma, Brahma Samhita is a very, very nice description. Gradually reveals the transcendental world. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasha. Very beautiful pastimes of the gopis and Radharani and all these beautiful emotions. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, he actually purported Sri Brahma Samhita. There used to be much more verses, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only fired about when he discovered the Brahma Samhita. It had been lost for a long time, but somehow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered it. About 55 or 56 verses, as I remember. And Bhaktisiddhanta wrote a nice commentary on it. And Srila Prabhupada said that you can just read his, if you can understand his English, very, very eloquent aristocratic English. But still, when you read these words by Bhaktisaranta, it gives you the ultimate of devotional service, which we all aspire for. Just to be there in Vrindavan with the cows, Govardhana. Wow, Govardhana, it's something that just saying Govardhana is a pleasure, not to speak of being. Imagine being there with thinking of the cows and the devotees and cooking for Radharani. Yes, we can all get there. We have to have this goal in front of us. Not just long time, maybe many lifetimes. No, just now. Focus on that and we get there. Because we contemplate on that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not come here to waste time. He gave us the ultimate. Here we are, which no other avatars ever did. They gave us some solution. Okay, you can go to Vaikuntha or here and there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the ultimate, the most confidential Vraja Lila, and every devotee, no matter how beginner or whatever he is, they have the opportunity, every one of us. So now just patiently practice, come through the clearing stage, avoid offenses as far as possible, and pray for forgiveness, and we always offer respect to the Vaishnavas. I remember in the early days, every time before Mangalarti, any devotee stepped in the temple room, we offered obeisances. Because the devotees are very special souls. Even if they appear to be a bit imperfect and, habits or whatever, we forgive. And we try to cooperate with one another. And that way Krishna, we give pleasure to Krishna, and that way we also feel very happy. I really like the life story of Jayananda Prabhu, how simply, purely just gave himself to Srila Prabhupada. He was just so dedicated. There are many other similar devotees too, who actually felt that, like Tribhuvana Prabhu in England, many very pure souls within this movement who, they just simply gave themselves to Srila Prabhupada. And this is the perfect examples how to practice and develop our Krishna consciousness within our everyday, in this world, in this life, is to follow and take shelter of our spiritual master. And then this way we feel enthusiastic. That's the other symptoms of getting the mercy. First, we have some gratitude. Wow, this is amazing. Not just because we are experiencing so-called peace and pleasure and joy from chanting, yes, but really this gratitude is more philosophical. The gravity, the value of this knowledge, the value of this Krishna consciousness process is beyond our comprehension. We may realize later. Now we have some realization by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Therefore we hang on to the lotus feet of Krishna. Don't leave, stay. Let's work together. So much to do. In so many ways you can express your individuality. You can design things for Krishna. You can participate in a cow protection. You can do so many things. You levitate somewhere where you feel that yes, this is me. I can express my love for Srila Prabhupada. We all have certain natures. It's okay. Very nice. Whatever you have, offer it to Krishna. If you have this, you can make money, you can do business, you can just give it to Srila Prabhupada. And maintaining your family. If you do it with a proper consciousness, that's also a great service to Mahaprabhu. Don't think this way, that way. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't preach. He discusses the Varna ashram. Yes, there are certain externals, but really, when he had the discussion with Ramananda Rai, and he was questioning Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course Ramananda Rai explains all these things, but then ultimately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was most satisfied when Ramananda Rai expressed the unconditional pure love of Radha and Krishna and Raja Leela. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he made it very clear, I'm not a Brahmana, Vaishya, Sudra, Kshatriya, nor a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanapasta, Sannyas. I'm none of these things. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, the most blissful personality of Godhead. So we have this attitude of serving the Vaishnavas in a humble state of mind. Krishna is definitely watching. He's very pleased. And then he's pleased, we also pleased. So we should know this formula. This is the ultimate equation. To please the devotees and then we please Krishna. I know it's easy to say all these things because we have conditioning, sometimes we don't feel the enthusiasm. But this is it. That's what we have to hear. Shravanam Kirtanam, Smaranam, remember. So we're spending our time in Krishna consciousness, sometimes together, and when you're in your room or house, bring the holy name there also. Turn on the tapes or read Prabhupada's books, sit the whole family down, have your altar there, have your Lungonita or Jagannath, and chant together. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, it doesn't matter, there are many songs in the songbook. It doesn't matter, Grihastha, this or that. The idea is devotion to Krishna and you go back to Godhead. External is just helping us really, so we can be peaceful and gradually make advancement. But the ultimate is devotion, and give yourself to Krishna, pray to the spiritual master, and raise your family that way. And the children will be very interesting. They're very, psychologically balanced, sattvic. They were attracted to Krishna, more of goodness. Great personalities will take birth in this movement. The husband and wife are Krishna conscious, and the idea is to always please Krishna, whatever we do. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant. And that was the mood of Bhaktisiddhanta also. To be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. And Srila Prabhupada was teaching the same thing, essentially, amongst the devotees, to cooperate. Let's work together. Let's please Srila Prabhupada. Let's work for the benefit of everyone. Therefore, preaching Krishna consciousness is a very important aspect of our spiritual life, regardless of your status. You may think, I'm just such a beginner, I don't know much. But some sincere feeling is there, and share that. People sense it, wow, you're getting something out of this. And when you speak to people, they feel that, wow, this person actually has some joy and happiness here. You just speak from your heart, you don't have to be a scholar. Whatever you can tell for the benefit of the person, it's a great service already. There was one little girl, Prabhupada she stood up in the class and in front of everyone says, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada was coincidentally speaking about the importance of preaching. And some devotees were kind of expressing a little doubt, Prabhupada, I'm so neophyte, how can I preach Krishna consciousness? And Prabhupada said, see this little girl here? She's preaching. The best preaching. Krishna. And he says, go door to door with my books and tell people boldly, please chant the holy names of Krishna. And I beg you, please chant the holy names of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just simple truths. It penetrates the heart. And here we are attracting people just on that strength of purity, realization and faith. That's what we have to do. And of course everything else comes along with that. We have to regularly study, understand these books, and ask questions and answers. And that way, then definitely there will be a family unit here, which is very important for a community like this if you want to develop it and move forward individually and collectively. To some or other understand this simple truths that we are humble servants of our brothers and sisters here in the service of Srila Prabhupada and Radha and Krishna. Krishna already gave us everything. It's just a question of realizing these things. Krishna is directly here with us. Archa Vigraha. Krishna directly here. In 3 dimensions, so we can see him. We can touch him, dress him, cook for him. And when you serve the devotees, when you serve the Lord, then you really feel that Krishna is actually real. It's not just some kind of idea, some faith or something or belief. No, Krishna consciousness is a reality. And that's what I realized yesterday. I was in the kitchen, I was lamenting a bit. And then I realized actually the real mercy here. Because we're serving the holy name. See? I wasn't trying to enjoy the holy name, I was just serving. I was tired, but then I became energized just because of this moment of realization. I got a great hope and happiness for the rest of the day. So this is the mercy of Krishna consciousness. So let's seek the mercy of Lord Krishna and Lord Brahma, who is the ultimate guru of this sampradaya. And one day Krishna will embrace us and shake hands with us. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.